Yes. At home probably can't see that we have a full house. How exciting. Again, thank you to the board for attending. I appreciate it. To everybody coming out, we do appreciate it. The video of this meeting is being broadcast live on YouTube and will be available on Facebook and posted to the village website. At this time, I'd like to call the meeting to order and ask Clerk Saladino to call the roll.
Trustee Augustine.
Here.
Trustee Gale.
Here.
Trustee Katinik.
Here.
Trustee McGee.
Here.
Trustee O'Brien.
Trustee O'Brien is absent due to work.
Trustee Peterson.
Here.
President Kukler.
Here. Thank you, Clerk Saladino. At this time, I would ask Andre Peterson and perhaps her husband Michael to come up and lead us, maybe just Andre Peterson, our village manager. Oh, Michael's coming. Fantastic. They're going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge the allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Andre, and we will be calling you up to honor you shortly. I want to start. We have several firefighters in the audience, as well as many with their families, and that is because it's a special day for us. We get to swear in 2 new firefighters and promote 2 firefighters to the position of captain. And we're going to move a little bit out of order in case that the current workers get a call. So we're going to start with that first, if that's all right with Clerk Saladino. Why don't we start then with the oath of office for firefighter Cody Ball. And I think Cody's girlfriend Lauren's going to be pinning on. And Lauren's parents, thank you for attending. Oh, sorry. And let me give you a little background on Cody before we get going. Due to vacancies, we are going to fill two positions tonight. On July 19th, 2022, the Board of Fire and Police Commissioners approved the appointment of Cody Ball to the position of firefighter paramedic. Cody has been working at the Stickney Fire Department as a firefighter EMT. Cody recently completed his paramedic training through Christ Hospital in Oak Lawn and is nationally certified. Cody holds a basic operations firefighter certification with the Office of the State Fire Marshal, Division of Personal Standards and Education, as well as a hazardous materials operations certificate. And we, of course, I recommend that Cody Ball be sworn in by Clerk Saladino and supported by the board.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Cody Ball,
I, Cody Bull,
having been appointed to
the
office of firefighter paramedic
office of firefighter paramedic
in the village of LaGrange,
in the village of LaGrange,
in the county of Cook,
in the county of Cook,
do solemnly swear
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office
of firefighter paramedic
to
to the best of my ability.
the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
I actually should have started by thanking former Fire Chief Don Gay for coming out tonight. Thank you, Chief Gay. We do appreciate you coming out and supporting the troops. I'd also like to recognize Chaplain Tim Perry. Chaplain Perry has been working with our fire department and our police and just doing a fantastic job. We can't say it enough. We thank or appreciate the service that our first responders do. It's a tough job in the best of times, and unfortunately, the times aren't always best. We do appreciate everything you do. The chaplain has been very helpful in working with the men and women in both departments, and Reverend Tim, thank you for your services. Moving on. No, please. And again, due to the vacancies, on July 19th, 2022, the Board of Fire and Police Commissioners approved the appointment of Walter Findes to the position of firefighter paramedic. I know Wally is here with his wife, Hannah, and his parents, Wally and Michelle. And I think that Hannah is going to be doing the penning. Wally has been working at the Beecher Fire Department as a firefighter EMT. Wally recently completed his paramedic training through Christ Hospital and is nationally certified. Wally holds a basic operations firefighter certificate with the Office of State Fire Marshal, Division of Personnel Standards and Education, as well as a hazardous materials operation and fire service vehicle operator. And we, the board, recommend that Walter Findes be invited to step forward and that Clerk Saladino swear him in and Hannah pin him.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Walter Findes,
I, Walter Findes,
having been appointed to
the
office of firefighter paramedic
the office of firefighter paramedic
in the village of LaGrange
in the village of LaGrange
in the county of Cook,
in the county of Cook,
do solemnly swear
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office of firefighter paramedic to the best of my ability.
Congratulations. Thank you.
The next two individuals were formally recognizing the appointment to the rank of captain. They've been acting as acting captains for quite some time, and as former Chief Don Gay said earlier, it's about time. So we recognize that. We're happy to be reestablishing the rank of captain in the LaGrange Fire Department. Again, we do appreciate all your efforts protecting our residents, our businesses, and our visitors. So it's my pleasure to have Captain Jeff Beeland come on forward, and let me read a little on his background. As part of the ratification of labor agreement, the board on July 11th approved 2 captain promotions. The Board and Fire Police Commissioners approved the promotion of Jeff Beeland to rank of captain. Jeff began his career in LaGrange on December 15th of 1997. Prior to that time, he was paid on-call firefighter with the Layton Fire Protection District. He has been a member of the MABUS Division 10 Hazardous Materials Team and has served as Department Training Officer. Jeff holds numerous certifications from the Office of State Fire Marshal, Division of Personnel Standards and Education, including Advanced Fire Officer Certification. Lieutenant, or now Captain Beeland has completed his Associates of Arts degree in Fire Science from Trident College, Jeff currently serves as the Fire Department Operations Officer and will be assigned to the black shift. We have 3 shifts that are manned with 6 firefighters. So we recommend as a board that Jeff Balin be invited to step forward to be penned by his wife. Thank you.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Jeff Balin,
I, Jeff Balin,
having been appointed to
having been appointed to
the office of Fire Captain
the office of Fire Captain
in the village of LaGrange,
in the village of LaGrange,
in the county of Cook,
in the county of Cook,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office of
the duties of the office of
Fire Captain
Fire Captain
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Let me thank Amy for pinning that on you. I do appreciate it. And we have AJ here also. I know Jeff's mom and dad are also with us, so we appreciate you coming out. I know it's always difficult when your loved one is going to work and putting themselves in front of dangerous situations. So thank you for that sacrifice, and we do appreciate it. Moving on, we have Captain Tom Bensfield. Again, as part of the labor negotiations, there were 2 captain promotions. On July 11th, 2022, the Board of Fire and Police Commissioners approved the promotion of Tom Bensfield to the rank of captain. Tom began his career at LaGrange on November 5th of 2002. Prior to that, he was paid-on-call firefighter with the Riverside Fire Department. He's been a member of the Mavis Division 10 Hazardous Material Team and is currently coordinator for the Division Technical Rescue Team. Tom holds numerous certificates from the Office of State Fire Marshal, Division of Personnel Standards and Education, including Chief Fire Officer certification. Lieutenant Bensfield has completed his Bachelor's of Arts degree from Carthage College. Tom currently serves as the Fire Department Training Officer and will be assigned to the Gold Shift. So again, as the board, we would recommend that Tom Bensfield be invited to step forward. And I know that his wife, Jen, is going to do the pinning, and that Tom's parents are here, as well as a lot of friends, family, and peers. So we appreciate everybody coming out for this great event.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Thomas Bensfield,
I, Thomas Bensfield,
having been appointed to
having been appointed to
the office of Fire Captain
the office of Fire Captain
in the village of LaGrange,
in the village of LaGrange,
in the county of Cook,
county of Cook,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office of
the duties of the office of
Fire Captain
Fire Captain
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Congratulations. In LaGrange, we're very fortunate to have a very active community diversity group. And annually, the community diversity group hosts an event. There are several events that are well attended by members both within our community and outside our community. The community diversity group will host several events during their 31st annual Diversity Days in LaGrange beginning Friday, September 9th. This year's theme, and I know that we have at least one or two members of the diversity group that will talk about it a little more, but this year's theme is Thriving Together. The events will include a screening of the movie Driving While Black on September 9th, with a discussion following the movie at the LaGrange Library and the annual Race Unity Rally on Sunday, September 11th at 3 p.m. in the Village Auditorium. Again, to register or for more information regarding these events, please visit www.communitydiversity.org. Community Diversity Group and its programs consistently provide positive messages of inclusion and understanding, helping to improve the quality of life in our community. I want to thank everyone involved in planning and supporting this important annual event, and I want to specifically recognize Marion Howell-Wilson, Ken and Linda Eastman, Harold Gitzman, Becky Lorenzen, and many others, and I know Becky may have a few words to say tonight. The village and the police department have a commitment to serving every member of our community with integrity, professionalism, and equity without regard to their race, religion, orientation, or housing status. We're a community of families, neighbors, and friends that care for each other regardless of their differences, and actually we like to celebrate our differences. I'm going to read now a proclamation for the 31st Annual Race Unity Day, but I think Chief Wardlaw has a few words to add regarding the commitment to community.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mr. President. The Community Diversity Group of LaGrange has a long-standing tradition of celebrating community and diversity within the village of LaGrange. The Community Diversity Group, the Village of LaGrange, and the LaGrange Police Department have established a long-standing partnership to promote an atmosphere within the village for the acceptance of all people regardless of race, culture, religion, or sexual orientation. Members of the Community Diversity Group and the LaGrange Police Department in 2022 committed to meeting every 2 months to discuss current issues locally, statewide, and nationally. The group seeks to strengthen community partnerships, relationships, while working to address changing expectations within society which impact the LaGrange Police Department. This is to ensure that the LaGrange Police Department is at the forefront of community relations while respectfully meeting the needs of the community. The LaGrange Police Department continues to follow the 10 shared principles created by the NAACP and the Illinois Chiefs Association. The 10 shared principles are designed to bridge trust between law enforcement and the communities of diversity and culture. The police department demonstrates its commitment by having every member of the department sign the 10 shared principles, which are prominently displayed in the lobby of the police department. Since 2021, the LaGrange Police Department recognized the needs to seek state-level accreditation through the Illinois Association of Chiefs of Police under Illinois Law Enforcement Accreditation Program, referred to as ILEAP. Accreditation demonstrates the police department's commitment to the community by following standardized criteria for policies and procedures, which are verified by an independent and authorizing body of ILEAP in compliance with the Illinois Safety Act. Since starting the process, the police department has rewritten 64 policies, issued 15 written directives, and issued 68 training bulletins. The police department is expected to reach Tier 1 accreditation by submitting 69 standards to ILEAP for approval by the end of 2022. Currently, only 48 departments in Illinois are certified under ILEAP. Lastly, the LaGrange Police Department is committed to transparency to the community. Since January 1st, 2022, the LaGrange Police Department reports the following information. Officers have responded to more than 12,104 calls for service and conducted 173 criminal arrests. Officers utilized physical force in response to resistance on only 11 occasions. Additionally, officers have responded to 36 calls for service related to mental health. The department conducted a total of 9 internal and external complaints into conduct, procedure, or policy violations. I would like to thank the village board, staff, and the public for allowing me to share this information.
Thank you, Chief, and thank you and your team for their leadership in both diversity and mental health. They're so important to us as a board, and we appreciate it. I'm going to read the proclamation and then ask for a motion and second so that we can approve it. And then we'll have somebody come speak. So, whereas the 31st Annual Race Unity Rally is an event to reaffirm the commitment to achieving race unity in LaGrange and surrounding communities, and whereas this year the Community Diversity Group calls the village together for an uplifting weekend celebration of human diversity culminating with Race Unity Day, and whereas the concept of unity and diversity is deeply rooted in the fabric of our American society, and whereas progress has been made in the legislative arena, we continue to work to bring us together on a personal level. And whereas the Race Unity Rally will demonstrate the commitment of the people of the village of LaGrange and surrounding communities to the principle that all are created equal and come together in recognition of oneness of humanity. Now, therefore, I, Mark Kukler, President of the Village of LaGrange, and we, the Board of Trustees of LaGrange, do hereby proclaim that Sunday, September 11th, 2022, is Race Unity Day. We urge all residents of our community to resolve this day to promote in ourselves, our community, state, and nation those qualities and attributes which will generate the recognition that all humanity belongs to one family, to fight prejudice wherever it is found, and to assure that all persons have equal opportunities regardless of their race. So I would entertain a motion and a second.
No motion.
Second.
Trustee Peterson, Trustee McGee, thank you for your motion and second. I'm sorry that was it Trustee Augustine? Sorry. Trustee Augustine motioned, and Trustee, I believe, McGee, it's a little easier on this side to figure out voices, seconded. So with that, any discussion? Seeing none, I'd ask Clerk Saladino to call a roll call vote.
Aye.
Trustee Katina.
Aye.
Trustee Peterson.
Aye.
Trustee Augustine.
Aye.
Trustee McGee.
Aye.
Trustee O'Brien is absent.
And it passes unanimously. And I believe we have somebody from the Community Diversity Group, and it looks like Becky up. We look like we have both coming up. Awesome. Please come up and tell us some more about the great events that are going to happen.
Okay, thank you, President Kukler. I have Nancy Bramson with me, who is also a longstanding member of Community Diversity, and you did a really nice job of describing the rally. I would just like to say that please come out and join us. Reverend McGee's Caring Place children will be part of the program. We're going to be honoring Reverend Al Banks, who's a longtime resident of LaGrange, and for his diversity, and also Sister Marlene from Sisters of St. Joseph. Posthumously, she's brought a lot of different communities together in the effort for unity and just passed away last year. So we hope you can make it, as many of you as possible. It's always a fun time. It's a little over an hour, and you get a chance to see lots of people, meet new friends, and then also on Friday night, join us at the library for a movie. I think we can have popcorn and pizza this year, 5:45, a little bit of history about driving while black, and then we'll have a movie and some discussion. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and thanks for all your efforts, and the board recognizes the Sisters of St. Joseph for all their great efforts, and of course, Reverend Banks for his continuing efforts in the village. Moving on, but in a similar vein, I had the opportunity to meet with Reverend Sabrina Huey. She's the pastor, or reverend at Davis Memorial AME Church, and they are having Labor Day weekend, Sunday on September 4th, a all-village block party. So the Davis Memorial Church is at 320 East Callender. They're going to start with a 10 a.m. service, and from 12 to 5, they're going to have an all-village block party, and they encourage everyone to come out and partake and enjoy. There'll be activities for the full family. So thanks. I'd like to thank the LGBA for all of their hard work. Summer's always busy in LaGrange. The LGBA is responsible for putting on a lot of the activities. We had Endless Summer, which was a fantastic partnership with the LGBA and the Park District, and it was a wonderful event. The rain threatened a little bit, but the crowd still came out and supported a great cause. At the LGBA this Friday and Saturday are going to hold a sidewalk sale that's going to be a big hit, so big that WGN will be doing a feature on August 24th at 11:45. So make sure you tune in for that. I also want to recognize Helping Hands. They have a big event, and I know Clerk Saladino is going to jump in and help me out with the details, but I believe it's Thursday at 4:30.
On East Avenue for the ribbon cutting for the Community Arts Center.
And I'm not sure why I didn't say it into the microphone, but 4:30 East Avenue for the ribbon cutting for their facility. So please come out for that. They're a great organization, and we appreciate all that they do for LaGrange and the surrounding communities.
Brother President,
Yes.
is that Thursday or Wednesday?
The
I
20th.
thought it was the 24th. Oh, the 25th?
Yes.
Okay.
Thursday, yeah. It's Thursday, 25th, 4:30 p.m., and it's in association with the LGBA.
Well, I'm glad you cleared that for me because I would have been there on Wednesday. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee
Put it
McGee.
on my calendar for Wednesday.
It is now my honor to be able to recognize our longtime village manager, Adriana Peterson. And before I do that, I do want to recognize a lot of the people in the audience. We have President Tim Hansen, President Liz Asperger, President Tom Livingston wanted to come but was drawn away on business. We have trustees McCarty and Holder. Thank you for coming out. And Clerk John Burns. So thank you for coming and recognizing Andre. Andre, you can either sit down or come to the podium. Sooner or later, you'll have to come up. We have some gifts for you. But we do, I want to start by personally thanking you for your dedication and efforts to the village of LaGrange. LaGrange is a wonderful place to raise a family, and it really is so because of our staff. And our staff is, we need a leader. And Andre was that leader for 5 years. Before that, for a number of years, she was our assistant village manager. Really, through the whole time, as whether assistant village manager or village manager, Andre made sure that, as Tom Livingston would say, the trains ran on schedule. Things got done when they were supposed to be done. And we didn't have scandals. We didn't have any real problems. And we thank Andre for her dedication. She was a tireless employee, put in countless hours, and really kept or made or helped make the village such a wonderful place. I know that she spent a lot of time away from home, so I appreciate that Michael's here to see us recognize Andre in that regard. I know that Ian's watching at Purdue, I'm sure, on the live stream Facebook page. So thank you, Ian, for the sacrifice you put up with when your mom was working nights and weekends to make sure that our village ran so smoothly. So what I'm going to do is read the proclamation, then ask for a board vote on that, and then I would open it up to any trustee comments, and then to the public for any comments that they may have. Whereas Andre Peterson has served the village of LaGrange for 16 years, first as assistant village manager beginning in 2006, and then as village manager since 2017. And whereas Andre successfully undertook many complex and impactful projects in her tenure as assistant village manager, including the significant rehabilitation of the historic Stone Avenue train station and the establishment of the Lyons Township Area Communications Center, among others. And whereas for the past 5 years, Andre has been fully committed to her role as village manager and has devoted countless hours to the support and the vision of the Board of Trustees and the success of the village staff. And whereas Andre adeptly and dynamically led the village through the unprecedented crisis of COVID-19 pandemic. And whereas Andre has always been a compelling advocate on behalf of the village and remains a steady champion for LaGrange. And whereas the fruits of Andre's labor are reflected in the thriving, vibrant community we enjoy. And whereas the future of LaGrange is secure and bright, due in great measure to Andre's tireless dedication. Now therefore, be it resolved that I, Mark Kukler, President of the Village of LaGrange, on behalf of the LaGrange Board of Trustees, the village clerk, the entire staff of the village, and all village residents, do hereby commend and thank Andreana Peterson for outstanding service and commitment to the Village of LaGrange, and convey our most sincere best wishes on her future endeavors. Soon, I think you're going to have to come to the podium, but either your husband or sister is going to have to prod you, I think, to come up here. But at this time, I would call for a motion on the resolution of appreciation.
I'd move we accept the proclamation as presented.
A second.
Thank you, Trustee Gale and Trustee McGee. And a roll call vote.
Trustee Augustine?
Aye.
Trustee Peterson?
Aye.
Trustee Katina?
Aye.
Trustee McGee?
Aye.
Trustee Gale?
Aye.
Trustee O'Brien is absent.
And I know that Trustee O'Brien wanted me to share how much he appreciated your efforts. He's relatively new to the board, but appreciated your direction, keeping him informed, and he wishes you all the best. At this time, I would ask if any trustees have anything to add. Trustee Kotinik.
Thank you, Mr. President. Well, Andre, I've known you a long time, dating back to, well, I'm going through my second term in the task force, so I've seen you in action. I'm not new to seeing how well you work, and I greatly appreciate many things about you. One thing that struck me immediately was your tireless work ethic, and I think President Kukler captured a lot of that, but seeing your dedication, your hours that, no one wanted to be here, but you were always here to get the job done, and that just always impressed me. The second thing is your passion for the village. You just extrude that confidence of being in LaGrange, and that was so evident to me, and to me that's just so welcoming. And third, what I would say is just your personality. When I was new, you were always approachable, always had a smile on your face, always, how can I help? And I can only imagine your to-do list on how crazy that is. But you always made time and approached things so professionally. So as a board member, I certainly want to thank you for all your efforts. But as a Village of LaGrange, I really appreciate everything you've done. You've placed your stamp on this village and it's a fantastic stamp. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Trustee Kotinik. Trustee Augustine.
Thank you, President Kukler. I think we're going to hear a lot of repeats on certain things because they were so remarkable and deep part of your character. I too have known you for almost the entire time I've lived here since I moved back. I met you through my experience on the Citizens Council. You were very helpful and very informative, and I was thrilled to see you get the village manager role. I knew you were ready. I knew you knocked it out of the park. So I thank you for your attention to detail and deep concern for the health and wellness of this village. You stepped into a long line of incredible village managers. It's a real vital role in this town. I think if you're up here, you know it. And if you're not, you may not know how much work it involves. Prior to becoming a trustee, and in my experience asking you questions as just a resident or as a member of the council, I was very quickly impressed with your knowledge and your ability to answer even my most obscure questions. And you were patient. I appreciated that. It's really a demanding role, the role of the village manager. It's truly 24/7. If anyone were to drive by here any night of the week and you saw the light on in Andre's office, she was there. It wasn't just left on. She was there, she was working, she was getting it done. A lot of work. And we appreciate that, and we saw that. So, as the others have said, and others will say, so much good has come out of your time here in LaGrange, and I fully appreciate your willingness and the sacrifice that went into making that happen. I wish you the best of luck in your new role. You will be missed.
Thank you, Trustee Augustine. Trustee Peterson.
I would just say that I didn't have the opportunity to work with Andre all that long. I didn't work with her up until I joined the Environmental Quality Commission in 2019. And Andre was very instrumental in helping the chair and keeping the meetings running, and very, very helpful in assisting meeting our goals and in organizing all the very successful events of the EQC. And for me, she was very helpful when I was elected to the board and becoming a trustee, because everyone here is going to tell you I don't have a problem asking questions. Usually a lot, and it can be annoying. But yeah, they're nodding their heads. But you were very helpful, and I was very appreciative of that. So I know that all of us wish you well, and I wish you and your family all the best.
Thank you, Trustee Peterson. Trustee McGee.
Well, I would just like to, first of all, say congratulations to Andrea on her future endeavors. I piggyback on a lot of what the other trustees have said. 2.5 years ago, I came on as a trustee in the beginning of a pandemic. Everything was crazy, but Andre was steadfast. She took me by the hand and got me through that first year. It wasn't an easy job because there were a lot of things I didn't know and I didn't understand. But she took the time and the efforts to make sure that I was ready for the task, and I can't thank you enough for that. But prior to my becoming a trustee, and these sentiments come from myself and my husband, Pastor Maurice, we met Andre maybe 7 or 8 years ago, and I think at that time she was the assistant manager, but every year the community would get together and honor Dr. Martin Luther King in a community-wide celebration. And Andre reached out to us before we could even get the word out to find out what the community was doing to celebrate Dr. King. And she always made sure that we had proper representation from village officials and the village staff. And for that, from the bottom of our hearts, we want to thank you for, you went beyond the measure of helping this community to be united and running smooth. And as President Kukler said, you kept the trains running on schedule. And we just wish you the best. And it's been a pleasure knowing you. And we'd like to thank your family for sharing you with us, because we know what it's like to have mom away from the family for so long. So thank you.
Thank you, Trustee McGee. Trustee Gale.
Thank you, Mr. President. Well, Andre, thank you, just as everyone else has conveyed. Appreciate your dedication and service to the village. A lot of folks don't realize that in a village of our size, the village manager, runs the day-to-day operations of our village. 100+ employees, millions of dollars of budget, huge responsibilities, and I can't thank you enough for doing it so well for so long. It is truly a testament to your abilities and talents that you've done it so well. And as part of that responsibility, you've led us through fires, you've led us through floods, you literally led us through a global pandemic, and you did it, incredibly well. There was never a call that wasn't answered. There was never a question you didn't find an answer to for me, and I greatly appreciate it. And I know, the community is stronger for you having served with us. So, thank you, and good luck on your new endeavor. Thanks.
Thank you, Trustee Gale. At this time, I would invite anybody from our audience that would like to come up and say a few words.
Well, I'll get up again because I didn't even realize that you had gone back to the Martin Luther King celebration, and I think I remember seeing you there. But I just want to appreciate, Andre, all you've done to help with diversity, equity, and inclusion in the village, and I think your leadership has really made a big difference. So thank you.
Thank you.
I just wanted to come out tonight to honor Andre. I stepped into executive director role a year ago, and you were really supportive honoring the village and the park. I think it's a really important relationship, and thank you, and good luck with your future.
And Jen, you just have to announce yourself for all the people at home that I'm sure know who you are. But
Jenny Bechtold, executive director for the Park District of LaGrange.
thanks. He's bringing a notepad. We may be here a while.
No, I had to write down some of the accolades.
Absolutely.
And Big Shoes was certainly one of them that you've not only stepped into but wore so well. We heard also that you led us through tough times. Everybody's experienced that, but how you did that, not with your head above water, but with a focus, with a purpose, and with a singular focus of being sure that it was whatever you did was to the benefit of all your constituents, the residents, the businesses, and those just visiting, all to the benefit of LaGrange, to which you have been an incredibly dedicated professional. You have been focused, you have been fair, you have gotten stuff done. I mean, we talked about renovating Stone Avenue. How about renovating the convincing ComEd to renovate the electrical system so that we have better reliability than any community in our area? And the aplomb with which you did the healthcare contracts for the village team, as well as all those other things that you did. If there's 4 words that I can say about you, it gets the job done. You always did it with professionalism, and as we heard, many, many hours of service. It's been an honor serving with you the time that I was here. It's been an honor being a resident, being a beneficiary of that service. And I thank you not only for your service, but Godspeed in the next endeavor, because I know it's going to be fun.
And Bill, even though you don't have your name here, so we have to have you say.
I'm Bill Holder.
Thanks, Bill.
Thank you, President Kukler and the board. My name is David McCarty, resident of LaGrange, 600 South Madison. Andre, thank you. Thank you very much. And I speak for a lot of the ex-board members and the trustees, Liz and the whole gang back here. We appreciate it. We know how much work you put in, and it makes a difference. You helped me, the Plan Commission, the reimagining of the Environmental Quality Commission. But the thing I want to thank you for most is, you may not even know this, my secret weapon as a trustee, when people would call and ask me something, I would just say, send an email to Andre. And it always worked, and I never got a complaint back. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Dave. And I know that President Livingston is traveling for business, but he wanted to tell you how much he appreciated your service during his term and to wish you all the best. So regardless of if you want to speak or not, you have to come up because we do have a couple of things to present you, but I do want you to have the opportunity in case you want to say it. Oh, we have Clerk Burns coming up. Sorry about that, Clerk.
Certainly, John Burns, former clerk. Thank you, President Kukler, and thank you, Andre, for everything over many, many, many years, days and nights. Yes, the lights were always on, but you were always here, dedicated, focused. And as Dave just said, you were the answer to all those questions. So we never hesitated, and you never hesitated coming back. That means so much to people that served with you. So thank you for your passion, your dedication, your leadership, mentoring. It means a lot. You're part of the fabric of this very important village. And I know a few years ago, you received a very special award from one of the residents for handling hot issues. You can share with people later what that award was all about. I would like to recognize you for another award, the Juggling Award. Thank you for everything you've done. What a contribution.
Thank you, Clerk Burns.
Thank you. This is all a bit overwhelming, so I will be brief. But I have been very privileged to work over the past 16 years with so many professional and inspirational elected leaders and staff, as well as residents, nonprofit organizations, and businesses. I am extremely grateful for the trust and confidence that has been placed in me, not only by this board, but previous elected officials. And each day, I am really humbled by the fact that few jobs are as fulfilling or provide the direct ability to affect people's lives like public service. And I'm very proud of all the village has accomplished through the support of the village board and LaGrange's dedicated employees. The pride that employees take in their work and how much they truly care for LaGrange is really evident in every facet of the quality of life that residents enjoy in the community. And so I share this recognition with all of these employees, which, none of this is possible without all of them. So I thank you again, and everyone I have had the pleasure to work with over the years. It is very much appreciated, and I will miss you all very much. Thank you.
Thank you, and why don't we all rise for a standing ovation? Come on back. And we're honored to be able to present Andre with a picture of the Village Hall where she spent so much time, and hopefully she looks at it and knows how much she accomplished in our village. So thank you so much. Thank you very much. Absolutely. Thank you. And there's still a little more. Labor Day is coming, so the village staff, but not the firemen and police and Public Works, not always, will have the day off. The Village Hall will be closed Monday, September 5th in observation of the Labor Day holiday. Normal business hours will resume on Tuesday, September 6th. As always, a full complement of public safety personnel will be available in case of an emergency. Refuse pickup and observation of Labor Day. Monday, September 5th, the residential refuse collection will take place a day later on Tuesday. Residents north of 47th with normal pickup on Monday, again, will be on Tuesday the 6th. Residents south of 47th, normal pickup on Thursday, will receive collection on Friday, September 9th. We are approaching fall. We do have brush pickup, but due to Labor Day, the next free brush pickup for LaGrange residents will begin on Tuesday, September 6th. You can always look at our village website if you have any questions on that. 47th and East, those railroad tracks. The Indiana Harbor Belt continues its work to repair the deteriorated railroad crossings at East Avenue and 47th Street. The East Avenue crossing is scheduled to be closed through Saturday, August 27th. Motorists are encouraged to use alternate routes, including Plainfield Road, 55th Street, LaGrange Road, Ogden, 47th, East Avenue. I would say 31st. I would say outside of our village borders, but please drive safely as much as you can. The Bluff Avenue interconnect is for residential side streets and open to only local traffic. Again, if you have any questions, Rick Colby in Public Works is there to handle those. Back to school. I know some schools started today, some start tomorrow, some start Wednesday. It's time to go back to school, and I'm told that things are going to be back to normal in the building. So that's wonderful news, I'm sure, for everyone. We'd like to remind the public that you need to keep your eyes and ears open for all the students and their guardians and parents walking them to school. Traffic and pedestrian safety is a priority for the village. Drive safely, be aware of your surroundings. For more information regarding pedestrian safety campaigns, as well as motorist and safety tips, visit the website of our village. I'm going to ask Chief Orloff to say a few words, again, about back to school. I also want to thank him for his team's work during Endless Summer. Again, it was a well-attended event. Their presence was noted. Problems were very minimal, and we appreciate it. But the slogan for the police department is "Be the change, travel safely in LaGrange." And I'm going to throw it to Chief Orloff.
Thank you, Mr. President. With the return back to school starting this week, we ask all motorists to be aware of pedestrians and to slow down in the school zones. As part of students and staff returning to school, officers will have an increased presence around schools for this week until the end of the month. We ask that all be a part of the change and travel safe in LaGrange. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Stormwater management. The village continues to work towards trial in September. We're producing documents, and tonight, in a few minutes, I know he's getting ready to move, but we're not ready just yet. Our attorney, Dan Stanner, is going to talk to the public a little bit about where we stand with the trial. We're going to eventually move to closed session, and Dan will give more details to the board, and we appreciate him coming out tonight. Again, the village has identified projects to help reduce flooding. They all have their own challenges, costs, and benefits. LaGrange cannot undertake significant stormwater management projects alone. We need regional partners and outlets for the water. In that regard, I had the pleasure of speaking to Congresswoman Newman today to ensure that the federal money is still on track. She said it is, that the House and Senate got together on their appropriations committee, and the good news is none of her funding was struck, so it's still there, it's still moving. It will eventually be voted on by the Senate. She's hoping that will be done sometime in September, and we appreciate her efforts in that regard. We're continuing to work closely with the MWRD at the MWRD suggestion and perhaps our encouragement. We're going to have monthly telephone calls with the MWRD so that we can talk and make sure that we're doing everything possible to reduce the flooding in LaGrange. At this time, I'd ask Rick, not so much the flooding, but if you could tell us, because you've been busy with some storms, with trees down, with water main breaks, and I know we got some upcoming street repairs. So if you can just give the public a little bit of taste of what your team's been dealing with.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you, President Kukler. We've had a few extraordinary events recently. So most recently, we were helping out the villages of Riverside and LaGrange Park with some storm events that occurred earlier in the month. And then we had a severe weather event here in the village that affected basically the Plainfield Road corridor with a few trees down. It's really excellent work by staff, and appreciate all the residents who were impacted by that. I was proud of the staff by able to get the roads clear and the streets safe and passable by the conclusion of that day, and then continued with cleanup for the next several weeks. We've also had a number of water main breaks, most recently this weekend, one notable on the intersection of Franklin and Tilden, and also at the 300 block of Burlington near to the police station. Again, just tremendous work by the staff to maintain and respond to these events, particularly to prevent them from becoming more larger casualties than they are, controlling the issues and maintaining the systems we have. Additionally, the village is pleased to announce that the 2022 Street Improvement Program is planned to start tomorrow, Tuesday, August 23rd. Right? Yeah, that's right. And then scheduled to be completed Friday, September 2nd. So the scope of work for this project consists of milling and paving sections of the road on 18 different blocks within town, approximately 7,600 square yards of pavement. It will not pave full street sections, as the budget won't allow that, but it will extend the service life of the roads. We're excited about this program. This is a new program we've brought to bear. It fills the gap between the pothole patching that we do and some of the more larger reconstruction projects that we do. So we look forward to this and future projects of a similar nature to extend the service life and address some of our most troubled areas. That's all I have.
Thank you, Department Head Colby. The mayor of Riverside did reach out to me to thank the village for sending the Public Works team. The mayor explained that they had to spend with subcontractors over $500,000 to clean up Riverside. And they estimate that if it wasn't for the village of LaGrange and neighboring villages that lent a hand, that cost to the residents would have been in excess of $1 million. So please tell your team that the residents of Riverside, as well as their crews and up to their president or mayor, appreciate the efforts. So thank you in that regard. And on September 11th, it's Patriots Day. It's obviously also Race Diversity Day, but Patriot Day gives us all time to reflect on the devastating terrorist attacks that took nearly 3,000 lives. The bravery of American citizens and first responders were remembered on the National Day of Service and Remembrance. The Robert Coulter American Legion is planning a commemoration event on September 11th at noon at the Countryside Village Hall, and we encourage everyone to come out and recognize that day. And I hope you'll join me. Now, I believe, I'm going to check my check marks, but I believe we only have one thing left, two things left on the president's report. The first one is my absolute pleasure to ask the board to appoint Charity Jones as acting village manager. There she is. Charity will be joining, assuming the board support, at future meetings up here. In July, Andriana Peterson announced her resignation from position of village manager for the village of LaGrange, effective last Friday. I've evaluated options for someone to serve as acting village manager until the village can complete a search for a permanent village manager, and identified Director of Community Development Charity Jones to, in addition to her current duties, serve as acting village manager until the village names a permanent village manager. Charity possesses excellent qualifications, understands and demonstrated leadership, and has strong communication skills. She has worked as the Community Development Director in LaGrange for the past 6 years. And prior to that, she worked for the Village of Lamont, first as a village planner, and then as Director of Planning and Economic Development. She has a bachelor's degree from the University of Iowa and holds a master's degree in urban planning and policy from the University of Illinois at Chicago, and is a member of the American Institute of Certified Planners. I'm pleased to present Charity Jones to the village board, to the community, to our village staff for consideration as acting village manager. I recommend that the village board consent to her appointment in accordance with section 31.026 of the village code to serve as acting village manager for a term to last until a permanent village manager is appointed and consented to the board, and that his salary, that for the duration of the term, is to be 5% higher than her current salary. At this time, I would invite the board to a motion and a second.
I move for the appointment of Charity as our acting village manager.
I'll second.
And I heard first trustee Gale and trustee Augustine, so thank you for moving and seconding. Any comments before the vote? Seeing none, I would ask for a roll call vote by Clerk Saladino.
Trustee Augustine?
Aye.
Trustee Gale?
Aye.
Trustee Katinik?
Aye.
Trustee McGee? Trustee Peterson?
Aye.
And Trustee O'Brien is absent.
And that passes unanimously. And if this time, we'd ask Charity to come forward so Clerk Saladino can administer the oath of office. And I'm not sure, Charity, if you have anybody here in the audience. They're all at home watching live on YouTube, I'm sure.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Charity Jones,
I, Charity Jones,
having been appointed to
having been appointed to
the position of acting village manager
the position of acting village manager
in the village of LaGrange,
in the village of LaGrange,
in the county of Cook,
in the county of Cook,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the position of
the duties of the position of
acting village manager
acting village manager
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Charity, thank you for stepping up. A well-deserved, though, appointment, and we look forward to your guidance. And now we are ready for our attorney, Dan Stanner, from Tabit, DeVito, and Rothstein, who's representing us in the lawsuit filed by the quarry prohibiting, at least so far to date, from the village making a gigantic step forward in their flood mitigation. I've been telling people that we're going to trial on September 19th. I hope you're here to tell us that that's still scheduled and update us as much as you can in this public meeting.
Yeah, President Kukler, I am happy to report that our September 19 date stands despite the quarry's best efforts to try to postpone this trial. Over the last 2 months, there have been at least 2 efforts to try and postpone it. I'm happy to say Judge Cohen, who's been involved with this for the last 4 or 5 years, recognizes that enough is enough and it's time to actually get to the heart of these issues. And he is holding the quarry's feet to the fire to actually go forward with our trial. The parties are currently in the process of briefing motions on what evidence will be admissible and what will be kept out of the case. There were no surprises there. We continue to feel very positive about the village's case and the position that we will take at trial. That's been buttressed with recent evidence, which I will be happy to discuss in detail when we go into executive session. The parties will submit written materials to the court, pretrial materials on September 9, and we will be there on September 19, ready to start opening statements.
Thanks.
Thank you. I appreciate the update. I know that the residents appreciate the update. They appreciate that the trial date's still September 19th. I know that I had the opportunity to listen in to the last status call, and it was, I think, last week. The judge, the other side said they needed at least 30 days, and I think the judge counted, well, it's 31 days before trial, so that's perfect. We should be able to get it done. I think they were a little amazed that the trial date is still continuing at September 19th. So thank you and your team for their hard work. We appreciate you sticking around and when we go into closed session. At this time, I would ask Clerk Saladino to read the items under both the consent agenda and new business.
Matters on the consent agenda will be considered by a single motion and vote because they already have been considered fully by the board at a previous meeting or have been determined to be of a routine nature. Any member of the Board of Trustees may request that an item be moved from the consent agenda to current business for separate consideration. Item A, award of contract, fiscal year 2022-23, Edgewood Avenue Rehabilitation Project, local public agency engineering service agreement for motor fuel tax funds, and resolution for improvement under the Illinois Highway Code. Item B, approval, repairs of fire engines 1111 and 1112. Item C, agreement, PACE, bus tracker message board. Item D, resolution, approving closed meeting minutes, authorizing the release of minutes, and authorizing the destruction of verbatim recordings of certain closed meetings of the village board. Item E, for profit solicitation, Orange Elephant Roofing and Solar. Item F, minutes of the Village of LaGrange Board of Trustees regular meeting, Monday, July 11, 2022. Item G, consolidated voucher 220725. Item H, consolidated voucher 220808. And item I, consolidated voucher 220822. Current business. This agenda item includes consideration of matters being presented to the Board of Trustees for action. Item A, agreement, Executive Recruitment Services Village Manager. And item B, special event, West End's Art Festival, request for approval.
Thank you, Clerk Saladino. At this time, I would ask if there's any public comments regarding any matter on tonight's agenda. Seeing none, I would ask if there's a motion to approve the consent agenda and a second.
Make a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Thank you, Trustee Peterson, for the second. At this time, Trustee Augustine.
Thank you, President Kukler. As previously stated, I recuse myself from voting on any agenda items regarding our village prosecutor.
Thank you. And trustees, any comments? Trustee Gale.
Thank you, Mr. President. Chief Vavra or Lou, for that repair of fire engines, just to give me some perspective, what's like ballpark cost of one of those fire engines, like brand new? I just couldn't remember off the top of my head.
A current engine right now is going for between, depending on the manufacturer and extras, between $500,000 and $750,000.
Okay, thanks. I'm just curious how to give some scope to the issue. Yep, thanks.
Trustee Augustine.
Yes, thank you, President Kukler. I had two questions. Clarification first from Rick, if you would, on the Edgewood project. Something that I thought interesting for this project is the FDR, the full depth reclamation. I don't feel like we've done that before yet, and so I like to see that. I think it's somewhat green and efficient, and it's maybe being done more so now because of supply chain. But if you could tell me what the efficiencies are, and then also just clarify, if you would, it does look like we're still going to have some kind of bike lane, the sharrows, the shared lane. Could you describe that? I was looking for a picture and I just didn't find one. Thanks.
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. So we are using a different construction method for the rehabilitation for Edgewood called full depth reclamation, or FDR. It does allow us to use the existing top bases, and it's ground up and it's used as additional sub base. So the advantage to that is you don't have to basically excavate and pull a bunch of material out and put a bunch of additional material in. It also, for the residents in that area, are going to make it a lot easier to drive on in shorter order of time. So I think the accessibility is important. So some of the advantages of that, again, are just less material issues. And those who weren't aware, we just came out of a kind of a labor strike that resulted in material shortages for asphalt and concrete for the majority of the summer. So we're excited to see this one go forward. So, we're using consultants who feel very comfortable with. We've talked to a few other municipalities that have done this successfully and felt like this case in particular, given the lack of kind of the need for additional sub base and using what we have to add to that, was a really, really good application for it.
Thanks. And then the bike lanes, what will that look like?
Yeah, there's going to be basically a large bike lane arrow. It looks like a bike person with a large arrow next to them. So it'll clearly indicate the need for vehicle traffic to stay clear of bicycles that might be using that. Unfortunately, there's not the addition of an additional bike path that was initially considered at the conceptual phase when the project looked a lot different a few years ago and they were applying for other funding.
Okay, thank you. And then I just had one more.
Sure.
Kukler. And item E for-profit solicitation, Orange Elephant Roofing and Solar. I guess kudos to them for doing what I think a lot of companies don't, which is apply to officially be able to solicit. When you get those hangers on your doors, that has to be applied for, if I'm not mistaken. And I get a lot of things that aren't, that don't pass that way. And I believe that in the solicitation laws that we have, you're also not allowed to put advertising in parkways. And I see a lot of signs. I won't name any names tonight, but I see people in our town and others just putting their signs in the parkway. And correct me if I'm wrong, but if we see that, that's illegal to do. It's taking advantage of our areas to advertise a small business. And again, this is not allowed. Is that correct?
That's correct. The zoning code prohibits signs within the right-of-way unless they're explicitly authorized by the village for a public purpose.
Okay. And if anyone gets a hanger on their door, they should be able to go to our website and see that they were officially approved. Otherwise, that company shouldn't have stepped on the porch to hang.
Correct. The approved solicitors list is on the website.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Trustee Augustine. Seeing no additional questions or comments, I would ask for a roll call vote.
Trustee McGee? Trustee Gale?
Aye.
Trustee Katina?
Aye.
Trustee Augustine?
Aye.
Trustee Peterson?
Aye.
And Trustee O'Brien is absent.
Thank you, and that passes unanimously. Department Head Colby mentioned a strike. I just want to clarify, it was not a strike in the village. Local 150, specifically their quarry operators, were striking against the quarry, our nemesis, amongst other quarries, and that strike has been resolved, and hopefully all the buildings and road construction and everything can get back on schedule and completed before the winter. Moving on to the current business, there is one matter on current business, and that is the professional service agreement for the recruitment for the full-time village manager. So as we've heard tonight, Village Manager Andre Peterson advised the village board that she would be ending her employment effective August 19th to pursue another opportunity. Hiring a village manager is one of the most important functions of the village board Based on input from members of the village board, we will establish a search committee of elected and appointed officials to manage the recruitment process. If any stakeholders would like to be involved in that, please reach out to myself or Acting Village Manager Charity Jones. To assist the village with this endeavor, we have requested a proposal from GovHR, a well-known and respected public sector consulting and executive recruitment firm based in Northbrook, Illinois. This is the same firm which assisted the village the last time it searched for a village manager, and with the talent acquisition of Director of Community Development Charity Jones, who's now our acting village manager, current Director of Public Works, Rick Colby, former Director of Public Works, Ryan Gillingham, as well as Kim Knutson, former Executive Director for our combined dispatch center. While there are several other national firms that provide recruitment services, the industry tends to be regional when it involves matching talent to employment needs, and GovHR specializes in providing recruitment services to Illinois municipalities. A detailed proposal is attached to the board report, and GovHR is proposing to first develop a recruitment profile, setting forth the detailed qualifications for the position. The recruitment profile, which will serve as a basis for a professional search and recruitment effort, including advertising, candidate outreach, candidate application process, candidate evaluation and screening, presentation of recommended candidates, interviewing assistance, and background checks. The recruitment fee is $19,500 plus a $1,500 allocation for reimbursable expenses and an advertising fees of $2,500 for a total estimated cost of $23,500. Although this is an unbudgeted expense, there will be sufficient funds in the administration department budget as a result of salaries associated with the vacancy. It should be noted that the executive recruitment services are exempt from formal bidding process due to the professional nature of the work. It's my recommendation that the board approve the agreement with GovHR, and I would entertain a motion and a second.
I move we accept the professional services agreement with GovHR as presented.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Gale. Thank you. Trustee Augustine, any questions in that regard? Hearing none, I would ask for a roll call vote.
Trustee Peterson.
Aye.
Trustee Katina.
Aye.
Trustee McGee.
Aye.
Trustee Gale.
Aye.
Trustee Augustine.
Aye.
And Trustee O'Brien absent.
And that motion passes unanimously. Trustee Kotinik and Trustee Gale will be working with GovHR on the initial recruiting efforts, and I appreciate their assistance in that regard. We do have a second current business, and that's the special event West End Art Festival, always a fan favorite. And I would ask Trustee Augustine to introduce this.
Thank you again, President Kukler. As the trustee liaison to the Community Economic Development Commission, I get the pleasure of once again introducing the discussion of another great community event, the West End Art Festival. We're going into our 26th year for this event, put on by the Grange Business Association, and they are once again seeking approval for this event that will take place Saturday, September 10th from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. and Sunday, September 11th from 10 to 5 p.m. As in years past, the event will celebrate performance and culinary arts in addition to the annual juried fine arts show. It's like a little old town art fair right here in LaGrange. It's a really, really fun time. And there's wonderful artists. We'll have 65 of them this year. The Art and Food Tent will offer cooking demonstrations from local chefs. Live jazz will be performed throughout the weekend. The LaGrange Art League and LaGrange Public Library will host interactive art activities and craft fairs for children. A booth showcasing the works of art students from Lyons Township High School will be featuring live demonstrations. And live demonstrations on the pottery wheel will take place. So I think that'll be fascinating. The 2022 Summer Art Series Earth Day Every Day will conclude with a live and silent auction of hand-painted rain barrels. You've seen them around town, no doubt, on Saturday. Funds raised from the sale of these will benefit area charitable organizations. The festival is once again proposed to be held on Burlington Avenue between Brainerd and Wyola Avenues, as well as in the park area surrounding Stone Avenue train station. Unlike past years, though, the event will not require the closure of Wyola Avenue. The event will feature, as I said, local food vendors, and additionally, the LGBA would like permission to sell and serve beer and wine throughout the festival. The alcohol is proposed to be sold and served by the LGBA's licensed caterer Milk Money Brewery in the food court area. With respect to the sale and consumption of alcohol, staff recommends all the usuals, including the LGBA's licensed caterer, Milk Money Brewing, sell and serve the beer and wine for consumption on premise during the hours of the event. The liquor control will be at the point of purchase and closely monitored thereafter. Beer and wine will only be sold during festival hours, and no open alcohol will be permitted to leave the area. If tonight we concur with this request, the village will need to formally approve, 1, the closure of Burlington Avenue and a portion of Stone from 9 a.m. Friday, September 9th through 9 p.m. Sunday, September 11th. And 2, suspension of parking restrictions in Lot 13, also from the Friday morning to Sunday night, to include allowances for overnight parking of the event exhibitors' trailers. And 3, suspension of parking time limits for the metered and 2-hour parking spaces surrounding the event area through the duration of the event. And 4, waiver of restrictions for outdoor display and sale of goods and services in the C2 zoning district. Separately, the Liquor Commissioner will need to grant permission to the LGBA and its vendors to sell and serve alcohol during this special event and could impose any additional restrictions deemed appropriate. Our staff, of course, went through all of this, and they are recommending the approval of what I have just listed above, as well as the typical accommodations that we put into these events above and beyond, which would be the village will maintain the final approval of the site, security, parking, and utility plans. The LGBA is to provide proof of appropriate liability insurance from itself and other appropriate parties, and name the village of LaGrange additional insured in this event. Acknowledgement, release, and waiver is to be signed by the LGBA and participating event vendors holding the village of LaGrange harmless. The LGBA shall also secure all necessary approvals from the Burlington Northern Railroad and/or Metra. All overtime and materials costs and costs included by a Village of LaGrange will be reimbursed by the LaGrange Business Association and many other things. If you would like to see the details, you can get all of this online. And everyone, of course, the last point really is that all the area businesses and residents will be notified in advance of the closures and the hours. So there shouldn't be any issues. Representatives from the LGBA are here tonight. I see one right now. And with that, I'd like to motion that we approve this request as described.
Thank you, Trustee Augustine. And a second. Thank you, Trustee McGee. Any discussion on this great event? Seeing none, do we need roll call or roll call on this, please?
Trustee Peterson?
Aye.
Trustee McGee?
Aye.
Trustee Katina?
Aye.
Trustee Gale?
Aye.
Trustee Augustine?
Aye.
Trustee O'Brien is absent.
And that passes unanimously. At this time, I would ask if anyone in the audience has any comments on those items that are not on tonight's agenda. Welcome back.
Back to Old Park District of Grange. See, I learned. I just wanted to thank the village for your support and participation within Endless Summerfest. Fire chief, police chief, you guys went above and beyond this year, so thank you very much. Community development, public works, we couldn't have done it without you. I saw a lot of your faces volunteering, so thank you. Thank you to the community for volunteering. Thank you to LGBA. Just thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer. And we appreciate the park districts working with the LGBA and the village on the very fun event. It's always bittersweet because it's called Endless Summer, and it does come towards the end of summer. So, but thank you. It's a lot of fun. Any other questions, comments
Hi, everyone. I'm Laura West, 140 Sunset in LaGrange. I am here again to express my frustration with the lack of a plan to address flooding north of 47th Street in LaGrange. As I've mentioned to everybody via email, the corner of Sunset and Elm has flooded beyond the curb, sidewalk, significantly into the yard, and into or approaching our detached garage 5 times so far in 2022. Those dates are April 13th, April 30th, May 31st, July 23rd, and July 27th. The same situation is true for many other houses around our corner and in the proximity. As you will notice, 2 of those were during the same week. Each of those instances had overland flooding completely covering the areas I mentioned into the yard. In addition to overland flooding, sewage water has risen into the street out of the round flat sewer grate located in the center of the intersection. This means that the same sidewalks and yards where kids and dogs play are covered in dried sewage for days, weeks, and likely longer. Trustee Augustine was thoughtful enough to witness the issue herself after one flooding event, and I believe she could provide more details about the aftermath if she would like. How many of those dates hit the village radar as being a flooding event for the village? These were all major flooding events for our neighborhood. We felt it very, very much. Many of those dates listed were instances where we simply got lucky that the storm did not continue another minute, or the worst part of the storm was north or south of LaGrange. Our property, the property of our neighbors, and the property of residents from LaGrange Road to Gilbert, from 47th to the tracks, is constantly threatened with flooding events that could and should be prevented. The rate of 5 major overland flooding events at the corner of Sunset and Elm in the first 7 months of this year is higher than ever before. In fact, the water very rarely went over the curb previously. I'm not an engineer, and in previous responses, it has been noted that there are engineers on the board and that Chris Burke Engineering is working hard on identifying short and long-term solutions. It is my understanding that all the taxpayers in the village have been funding the work of Chris Burke Engineering, and I am requesting the results of the engineer's assessment for the area north of 47th Street, including this notable problem area of Sunset and Elm, and other problem spots throughout this portion of LaGrange be made publicly available. I do not believe any residents of LaGrange should be satisfied with the previous assertion from the village that no capital improvements to address flooding north of 47th will be implemented until 2029 at the earliest. It is appalling that an issue this large with this much frequency continues to be pushed to the side. Until there is a plan in place with flooding, funding, and ground broken, the fact is that it remains overlooked, unaddressed, and ignored. As I mentioned in previous meetings, hearing how much the board cares and is working on it is not enough. I believe all residents investing in houses, paying taxes, and putting down roots in LaGrange deserve an answer and action to address this problem. I hope the closed session is a start to this, and we are ready for a plan and some action. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. West. And again, to clarify, the closed session will be regarding litigation, and that litigation involves the quarry. I'm not sure, and I've never heard any board member or former board member say that projects would not start until the earliest of 2029. I believe what Ms. West was referring to was the MWRD's agreement to remove the divider that's in the Mars sewer in 2029. We do look forward to having that removed in 2029. Also, the statements that I've made is that doing improvements prior to the whatever improvements we do will not be going online until 2029 when that divider is removed. Although it would be my hope that the construction and continuation of Mars is completed by the time that that divider is removed, so that the first day that the village gets the benefit of that divider being removed, we get the full benefit of that. So those are my comments in response, Ms. West. At this time, we will be moving into closed session, but first I want to ask if any trustees have any comments.
I do.
Trustee Augustine?
Are we talking about just this issue or any comment?
We are talking about all trustee comments that you could have for any issue at all.
Okay, well, thanks. Well, again, Laura, thanks for coming and sharing that with us. It continues to remind us of all the work that we need to do, and we are doing it. And we can do more. Secondly, what I did want to address was an email that I think we all got today from an area architect, and he's concerned about some code and would like clarification because as residents are rebuilding or building a new garage, some are interested in plumbing that so that it may be a home office or an extra space, not something to rent out. Our code doesn't allow that. But it might be time in a post-COVID world to revisit that. And I've talked a little bit to Charity about that, and we can talk about it more after the meeting, but the architect in his email to us had asked that he'd like to see it discussed at board level. I'm just bringing it up. I think there was a lot of good information about that. We had it in our legal forum that we went to with our attorney law firm. It was discussed there. A lot of communities are revisiting that, so I would just like to suggest that I'd like us to revisit that particular part of our code. Thanks.
Thank you, Trustee Augustine, and it's always good to revisit things. I know that that was part of the board package within the last few months, specifically due to what the architect that sent the email, the resident that sent the email. But we can always revisit that, and I'm sure Charity can resend out to the trustees the report that was done in that regard. Any other comments? All right. Thank you. We are going to go into closed session under Section 2C11 of the Illinois Open Meetings Act to discuss matters related to pending litigation. That's 2C11, Open Meetings Act. The intention is to adjourn to closed session immediately, and the village board will not reconvene to open session as no formal action will occur or could occur during closed session. I will ask for a motion to adjourn into closed session and a second.
So moved.
Thank you, Trustee Kotinik.
Second.
Thank you, Trustee Gale. Is there any question, conversation, comments regarding going into closed session? Seeing none, I would ask to Clerk Saladino to conduct a voice vote. Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you, Attorney Ben Schuster. We were going to do a roll call to go into closed session. That makes more sense. And if we could do a roll call vote.
Trustee Peterson?
Aye.
Trustee Augustine?
Aye.
Trustee Kotinik?
Aye.
Trustee Gale?
Aye.
Trustee McGee?
Aye.
And Trustee O'Brien is absent.
And that passes unanimously. Thank you, everybody, and we will be back in 2 weeks.